Oops. I suppose you've also watched, just like me, videos from creators who build these model steam engines out of castings. There are steam engines, there are gas engines, there are also machine tools, and I think that is fantastic. And I would like to build one too. Now, I'm not really interested in playing with steam. I think it's a bit too hot to handle and it can be really messy with coal and all these things, and the engine, if it's not properly cleaned after using, it is probably dead. So I choose to make a machine tool, and if you're a little bit familiar with my channel, you know that my favorite machine is of course the shaper. So I looked a bit around on the internet to see if I could find some models in castings for shaper machines, and indeed I found two. That's not much. The problem is, I think they're rather expensive and I don't have the right machines to work these castings, so maybe I'm gonna screw that up. And there is another problem. The building plans for these model machines are imperial, but I'm a metric guy, so it means that first I have to translate all these numbers in normal people numbers, and that is lots of work, and that could also be source of errors. So I thought to myself, let go, I will make something else, not a problem. Until I participated in the ARW live discussion on Sunday with all these other great YouTube creators, you know, and there was also Jew Pie, and this is what he told me.
I think that will be a bit a challenge to do this in a drill press and a shaper. It's gonna be a bit complicated.
You know, that would be a great competition though. Make something on a machine that's absolutely not intended for that machine to make it. See how creative you can get.
I think it was the same week that I watched Emma's Spare Room live on Wednesday, and in the chat Greg said to me, you can make a working shaper out of rebar. So these two events, the Harold live and Emma's live chat, gave me in fact the click to build a shaper out of nothing with what I have. I have some square tubing here to make the base. I have a piece of flatboard to make the body. I have the tool slide, the table slide system, and of course the table. In here is hidden the RAM. I have a bolt gear. This one is gonna be the tool holder, and of course a hand wheel. I will need some other things, but this is the basic idea. Now, I don't have any building plans for this machine, but I don't think there is a need. If I take measurements on this machine, I think it's even better than building plans. There's just a few little problems I have to figure out, and I don't know how I'm gonna fix it, but we'll do when we get there. For example, this one is the smallest bolt I have. This is a metric 3. I think it's a very small bolt. The problem is, in real life, will be this one. I'm gonna build this little shaper scale 1 to 10, which means when finished it will be about 150 millimeters, about 6-inch height of this little scale. Enough talking, let's start with the base. I made this little bending block here that fits in here. Line it up. Of course it's not thick enough, so I have to put here a little shim. Cool. That looks good. Now that these little parts are bent and I suppose it's gonna work, time to work on the toolbox. The 4 holes are drilled are just locating holes for the other side. I will open up after it's welded. I'm gonna use this piece and weld this two on here and cut it out later. This piece of steel will serve as a heat sink, so there will be less chance of burning through while welding. Alright, so now I have to weld this little thing in here, locate it through the holes. Right, now I have to weld in here. This one will be easy, but the other three, that's gonna be a bit a challenge. Of course, for the moment, it looks a bit like nothing, but after cleanup, I think it will be okay. First, I'm gonna open this hole here. Made a little bit a cut with the angle grinder. Now all right. Admire my high precision holding system here. We'll see if it works. Yeah. All right. Right. Clean it up a bit, make it look as one part. Here's a protrusion where the motor sits in. 13. This is 4. This is 3 millimeters. I don't have 4, but I suppose that will do. Right, a little bit more welding to do. When you do grinding work on parts like this, for example, sometimes it's hard to see if the edges are really straight. So a good trick is to put paint on it and then you see if it's nice and flat or not. So this side looks okay, there's a little pitting here, but I think that's okay. Here I see 2 little mistakes I have to try to camouflage. And here, this edge, I see now clearly that it's not really straight. So I'm gonna give a little touch on this one. Paint it again. And here's the base. Now I'm gonna stop this video here. I think it's already long enough. In part 2, and I have no idea how many parts there will be because I'm posting these videos while I'm building it, so we'll see. But in part 2 I will make the main body of this machine.